This video is going to be about a bongkekic acid, which is actually it's found in like a fermented tempeh, but mostly fermented corn and sometimes rice. And this can actually it's an acid that actually affects the mitochondria, and if it's not if you don't prevent it, it could lead to multiple organ failure. It's also heat stable, so heating it up won't dissolve it. The bongkekic acid, it targets the adenine nucleotide translocator, which is also called the ADP-ATP translocase in the inner mitochondrial membrane. And the normal function of the ANT in the mitochondrial membrane is exchanging ADP and ATP. So bongkekic acid, it actually binds to ANT in its C state. So this locks the ANT in a conformation that prevents the export of ATP and the export of ADP. And the consequences of ANT inhibition is that the mitochondria cannot supply ATP to the cytosol. And as a result, an energy crisis occurs, leading to cell death, particularly in high-energy tissues like the liver and the heart. So bongkekic acid is extremely toxic, causing rapid and fatal food poisoning when contaminated. And it's also in a fermented coconut. And also, like I said before, corn products. And the heat, such as normal cooking, like I said before, doesn't inactivate bongkrekic acid. Basically, ATP stops leaving the mitochondria and effectively freezing cellular energy supply, which is why it's so deadly. When talking about bongkrekic acid, it's usually prepared in parts of Southeast Asia, and it's also called Burkholderia gladioli. And like I said before, it contaminates coconut, mostly corn-based foods. And how it appears in coconut is, in some traditional practices, coconut or coconut paste is fermented for food. And of course, it's heat stable, and not even boiling will destroy it. And boiling is really hot. And the mechanism of toxicity is that basically, so as a result of ATP not being able to leave the mitochondria, the cell runs out of usable energy, and which can lead to a multi-organ failure. Also including the kidneys. Also, symptoms of poisoning is nausea, vomiting, abdominal pain, diarrhea. It also gets progressive, such as in muscle weakness, tremors, seizures, and low blood pressure. And in severe cases is coma and death within hours to a couple of days. And the prevention is to avoid uncontrolled or home fermentation of coconut or corn. Fermented coconut products are usually unsafe as they are produced under hygienic conditions. There is no antidote. Treatment is supportive care in a hospital. But the key point is that if you suspect fermented coconut might be contaminated, to not consume it. Like I said, bongkrekic acid is highly toxic, and cooking will not remove it. Now, the reason this is fatal is because the immune cells are also a high energy. They require a lot of energy, and they also need mitochondria for that. So if the mitochondria is not working because of the bongkekic acid, then your immune cells aren't going to work either. So that's why it's important to keep your mitochondria functioning. A good way to do this is with this one thing called PGC1A, which is actually the main regulator of mitochondria. So one good way to deal with mitochondrial stress, or to improve your mitochondria for your immune system, is with Spirulina, because it lowers mitochondrial oxidative stress. It's also rich in phycocyanin or phycocyanobillin, which functionally mimics bilirubin inside cells. It also inhibits NADPH oxidase, which is less superoxide spillover into mitochondria. It protects the ETC complexes 1 and 3, where most reactive oxygen species leakage occurs. This means mitochondria stays in efficient electron flow mode instead of leaky oxidative mode. Spirulina also shifts metabolism away from lactate production. It doesn't actually flush lactate directly, but it reduces the need to make it. This improves mitochondrial NAD plus NADH ratio, supports pyruvate dehydrogenase, which is PDH in short activity. This favors pyruvate acetyl coenzyme A instead of pyruvate lactate. When PDH is active and mitochondria are protected, like glycolysis doesn't bottleneck, lactate dehydrogenase pressure drops and lactate accumulation falls. So lactate clearance improves indirectly. Once oxidative stress drops, the MCT1, MCT4 transporters work more efficiently. Lactate is reoxidized to pyruvate in mitochondria, especially in muscle, liver, and heart. Now, why this matters physiologically? The combo effect is important because this lowers reactive oxygen species, which is better PDH flux, which means less lactate signaling, better endurance and recovery for muscle. So mitochondrial function is also good for muscle. This is especially relevant in insulin resistance, aging mitochondria, hypoxia, prone tissues, which is actually related to cancer. So by taking care of your mitochondria, you're also preventing cancer, because cancer thrives in hypoxic states or in low oxygen environments, which is also in tumor microenvironments, which is where cancer thrives. So basically, in the tumor microenvironment, a good way to penetrate it so that the immune cells can get in, which immune cells need good mitochondria to be able to get into the tumors, is with zinc. Zinc, well, you also have to have a healthy stomach for zinc to absorb. So that's why you have to avoid gluten, because gluten downregulates the proteins in the stomach that keeps the tight junctions tight, which is proteins like occlutin, so zinc actually helps boost this thing called MMP9, which is short for metalloproteinase. That's actually needed to open up where the tumors are, which is the extracellular matrix. Because if the extracellular matrix is not opened, then the immune cells can't go in to attack the cancer cells. Also, when immune cells enter the extracellular matrix, they're also attacked by tumors. because the tumors are actually defending themselves from immune attack, and they actually do that by releasing cytokines or an inflammatory attack. A good way to protect immune cells is with this compound that comes from salmon, which is called astaxanthin. That protects immune cells from inflammatory attacks from tumors. Also, zinc. If you take enough zinc, that also closes chromatin. As a result of closing chromatin, this also disables oncogenes, which is what cancer needs to survive or to function. So if the oncogenes are closed, then that means that the immune cells are able to attack the tumors. Well, there's a lot more to go into detail, so stay tuned for future videos.